Meditation is an amazing, out of the world experience. The best time to do it is in the morning, but it can happen anytime. After an exercise, which I just had today, of shoveling the snow, and since you can't sleep after the body aches and everything, the release of energy from the muscles is ready to put you into samadhi state. There is a vibrant energy flowing, and you just have to follow the path. Energy is light. It always rises, especially after strenuous exercise like this. It puts you into awareness state immediately. As the awareness becomes more and more clear, with its infinity that it offers, the infinite existence that it offers, all your life's experiences come in front of you from the time you were 5-year-old, 15, 20, 25, 35, 40, whatever. Every single experience, you put them and make a collage out of it. A collage which is not just a flat collage that you may see in art museum, but a dynamic collage. Each experience becomes part of that collage, and you have created an album of all your experiences put together. And each experience involved the opposite person or an object, may it be a flower or a moon or earth or a person, could be anything. And of course, you were there as a subject, experiencing all these experiences. Of course, the mind was there to store all these things, but mind was also changing all the time, totally deeply involved in the experience. But the mind was also part of it and changing all the time. Each experience change your mind, positive, negative, neutral, but nevertheless, mind was exposed to this experience. You put all these things into a dynamic collage, as if you are standing in the art museum looking at a beautiful collage of so many pictures together in a single frame. Same way, you can be a witness of all your experiences, because experiences cannot be only one-sided. So you put yourself of that moment into the collage also. If you were 5-year-old, you had a 5-year-old body, 5-year-old mind, and then whatever experience happened, it's a trinity of subject, object, and the experience. Put everything together and then become a witness of this collage of experiences. You will see the dynamic nature of each experience changing all the time. Life so far was very dynamic, with ups and downs and good and bad and ugly and all sorts of experiences came and went. But the witness of all is hidden within us with its full consciousness and infinite dimensions, covering the whole universe or universes, because it has no shape, no size. Every single experience had a stamp of time. It happened at such and such date, such and such time. So time becomes part of the collage. With the infinite consciousness, there will be some universes or even some pockets of universes where there is no time. Time is a local phenomenon of our own solar system. And since we synchronize our rotation around the sun, we all have time. But you walk away from the solar system and reach somewhere where there is no frame of reference, time disappears. So there may be so many deep pockets of the universe where there is no time. Or there may be something else. So time is not as important as we think. It is just a built-in part of the experience. So the witness of all this is the consciousness. It is unchangeable, unlike all the experiences which are continuously changing second to second. But since consciousness is formless, it's beyond change. Change can happen only to the objects which has form, or shape, size, color, taste. Everything changes. But if you have no form, how can you change? So the consciousness has no form. So it is Shashvat. It's forever. Only the forms are subjected to time. Because forms change, that's why they follow the time. And as they change, time happens. But a formless existence has no form, and since it cannot change, it's above time. The changeable world which is recorded in your mind presents you different objects. Some you like, some you don't. And you are mesmerized with these objects or people, and you keep running. The movement of your mind is also built into this time. So it is also temporary. But where there is no form, there is nothing to gain, nothing to lose. In a state of infinite consciousness, you are beyond the time. And also you are beyond the mind. Since mind is given choices, mind has likes and dislikes. It likes some things, it dislikes some things. It runs all over the place, thinking that whatever is presented to it is real. But with the rise of consciousness within you, you realize that this was just an illusory game for the mind to run around because of its own ignorance and its own belief into the material world. And since the material world keeps on changing, mind is always running. The only time you can realize the ignorance of the mind is when you settle in cosmic intelligence, cosmic consciousness, which pervades everywhere, including within these experiences with its own awareness. So all your experiences embedded into that collage becomes like particles floating in the infinite ocean of consciousness. And as your sadhana gets deeper, the consciousness remains, and those particles seem to have originated from that consciousness, and they dissolve into the same consciousness. A person is born and person dies. Where did he come from and where did he go? The infinite consciousness absorbs everything. It gives rise to everything. It supports its existence while he or she is alive and takes him or her back into itself. So consciousness is the generator, operator, and destroyer of the visible universe. But the ultimate fate of all the visible universe is in this grand consciousness. So once you attain the deeper state of samadhi, you realize that whatever you gained in the material world was a dream, and whatever you lost in the material world was also a dream. There is nothing to gain in consciousness because there are no divisions in consciousness. If you want to get a part of consciousness, that's silly, because infinite cannot be divided. Every single part of consciousness will be also infinite itself. So consciousness cannot be divided. If it cannot be divided, what do you have to gain? What do you have to lose? Just a deep sense of relaxation from the running around of the mind. You settle into a permanent, peaceful state, a joyful state. All this requires repeated efforts on meditation, and after the efforts, the grace of consciousness has to flow into you. Have a good day.